Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome in for another episode of Spirit Speakeasy. Today, I have something very special for you. I'm going to do a mini mediumship reading, and then we are going to hear from the person I'm reading for. Her name is Amy. She is the chapter leader for the San Diego chapter of a group called Helping Parents Heal, which is a parents' bereavement organization. I'm going to read you Amy's bio. I'm recording this intro and outro a few days later because I didn't have Amy's bio. I talk about it in the episode. Most people don't know this, but a couple times a year, I am grateful and lucky to get to do group readings for the Helping Parents Heal organization to help them connect with their kids who've crossed over to the spirit world. And I don't like to know anything about any of the parents before going in, so I haven't heard Amy's full story. So she was willing, and I thought it would be a beautiful experience for her to have a mini reading and for her to share her story with us. So I'm going to read her bio now. And then once we start the episode in just a couple minutes, I dive right in with the reading. So this is Amy's description of what happened. She says that day changed her life forever. March 21st, 2020, when her beautiful son, Brandon, 28, crossed over to the other side after accidentally and fatally ingesting fentanyl. The signs from him from across the veil were immediate and strong. She felt strangely blessed at the most terrible time of her life. With the intense pain, denial, and guilt that overtakes every parent in this situation, she found herself searching for the answers to the sometimes unanswerable questions that face us all, no matter the circumstances. From that day, she's been on a growth journey immersed in all things spiritual, which has included many resources that she's found through Helping Parents Heal. And from day one, her son has been with her and her family and close friends, showing up in so many undeniable and remarkable ways that she feels compelled to help others find their way as well. We all move through this at our own pace, she says, in our own way, and it can be work that requires dedication, but the reward is a beautiful connection with their kiddos. So I'm so excited to have Amy, and of course, Helping Parents Heal is an incredible organization that she will share about, and I will link it in the show notes. If you have lost a kiddo of any age, any stage, any time ago, and in any method, Helping Parents Heal is an incredible organization that also has resources. So even if you didn't want to attend meetings, there are plenty of resources for you to have, and I'll link their helpingparentsheal.org and the website in the show notes, so you can find that. And you can also share it with someone that you know that could potentially use this resource. So without further ado, let me show you this mini reading and introduce you to Amy Sanders from Helping Parents Heal. Essentially, first, I will start by just telling you a little bit about how I read, and we'll see if we can do just a little mini reading, and then I'll chat to you. You sort of know how I work already. You know that the style of mediumship I practice is called evidential, which means that's my intention for your loved ones to share specific details about themselves so you can recognize them. You know that they'll choose however they want to share. Some will share personality, some will help with details, memories from their life, some will talk about things going on in your life. Really, all I need from your side in the reading segment here is just to say yes, no, or I don't know as I give you the details. Don't feel stuck in a box. You could speak to me, but try not to finish the stories for me, really is all it is. I'm so excited to have you here. Now, I have met you a couple times before, so I have met your wonderful son on the other side before. So I'll try to be honest about what I already know versus what's new info. I mean, you'll know what I already know just from having met you in a group reading before. You feel okay about all that?
Sure.
Okay, let me just kind of move my awareness and we will see where we are going to go. Now, I know that your son's name is Brandon. I feel like, does he have a really strong sense of humor as part of his personality? Because you and I have been having a little tech glitches as we're getting on here, and I could feel this emotion of him like laughing and teasing you and giving you a hard time. You understand that part about his personality? Yeah. Is he sometimes in his past someone that helps you with the tech side of things and is like working on tech things for you occasionally, or setting up speaker systems or something like that?
A little bit.
Because it just feels like he's joking with you about still learning technology and all of that, which I think we're all still learning technology. Now, I know we've talked about Brandon's passing before. I know it's traumatic and tragic in the way that it happens. But I want to say this piece that I don't know, I do already know that he has a substance challenge as part of his life story. But I know he reaches this place where he feels very stable and strong to me after an addictive period. Do you understand that part about him?
Yes.
Because there's just this feeling of like, so proud. The family rallies all together to help him over this period of time. And he's acknowledging other members of your family too, and just wanting to put so much love around how no one ever gave up on him. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's acknowledging that there's times when he's actively in this addiction that he's not the easiest. Is that fair to say? And that he's it kind of hurting people's hearts with the behavior because we all care about him so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, some.
But then there's just this sense with him also of that he has so many strong people in his life surrounding him that really cheerleaded him and supported him. And the way he's giving it is like helped him believe in himself when he couldn't quite see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Uh-huh.
You have some sit down talks with him when he's really there's this feeling with him of like then he decides he's going to very strongly pursue his recovery. Do you know what I mean? I
Yes.
feel like we're all stubborn in our own way, but I want to say he's making a very clear point on the timeline of like, I decided to believe in myself and then everything changes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
But then in that little time period where he's just starting to get on his feet and get stronger, do you have a couple like pep talks with him where you're sitting down and telling him how amazing you see him from your perspective?
Yes, there have been pep
A few
talks.
times, because there's
Mm-hmm.
just this feeling in there of like to see yourself through his eyes and to see his potential through your eyes really starts to shift something in him. Do you know what I mean? And then I know he goes through his own recovery journey. I already know this about him. And I know he gets what the way he's showing it to me now is like incredibly stable, where like he is speaking to other people about recovery. You know, this piece of his story?
Yes.
Because he feels really proud of this. Is this a good like chunk of years that he's feeling strong and helping in the world?
3 years.
Yeah, it feels like it's a good like solid chunk of time for him. And there's just this feeling of you know, he's not a prideful person, I have to say that, but there's this sense of like feeling good about doing good for others. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he like I want to say he pretty regularly, it feels more than just like a 12-step meeting scenario, but I feel like he's pretty regularly speaking in front of other people and helping other people. Does that make sense of the way I'm saying it?
Um, not necessarily in that way that
I
I
can
know
take,
of.
let me just work with it a little. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, because I know he's going to his own like some version of recovery meeting or counseling or something like that. Is that true?
That had happened.
Yeah, for a period of time. And then there's
Mhm.
this feeling of him like reaching a hand out and helping other people with his story and his experience. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, that definitely
Okay.
happened.
I just want to make sure I'm getting it right for him because he's
Yeah,
such a
we
trooper
found
with
out,
me
yeah,
always. Go
after the
ahead. What were you
fact
going to
we
say?
found
Oh,
out.
after the fact. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Because that's the other thing is he has this humble side of him. Do you know what I mean? That he like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is him his whole life though, from the time he's a kid. It's like you're hearing from teachers about like, oh no, he's very good at helping. He's very well behaved, but he's not like coming home and telling you what a good job he does as a kid. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely surprised that we're finding out after the fact so much help that he gave to others, just because it's not something that he would highlight as like, hey, pay attention to me, I'm doing good. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
He has
Mm-hmm.
this very humble heart with him, I have to say. Does he have a faith in a higher power himself?
He did.
Because there's just this feeling with him of feeling his own like personal spiritual connection in some way. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Even that feels very private to me, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's announcing it to the whole public. I feel like it's his own private relationship, his own private study of his faith. Is that fair?
That is fair.
And there's just this feeling with him of wanting to acknowledge, without, we won't go too much into it, but you have a faith yourself.
Yes, we spoke a lot about what we thought it all was. And
Okay. Because there's just this sense with him wanting to acknowledge that, even in these years that he's been gone, that you are pursuing your faith still. And it's changed maybe, but there's a deepening there for you. I know we talked about that we were going to talk about signs. I don't know what your signs are, but let's see if he's going to give us some, because I feel like this is what I'm starting to see. The other thing is he keeps showing me these beautiful rainbows as like this feeling of peace and everything's going to be okay. I don't know if that's one of the things that you already are aware that he's sending you, but I have to tell you, it is one of the things he's sending you.
do you want me to
So
tell? Do you want me to tell you?
just give me a yes or no on that one.
Yes.
Okay. Because
Not always, but there's a specific one that just
Okay, I'm
happened.
excited to hear about that in just a minute. But there is this feeling with him of lots of little signs kind of sprinkled in throughout your day, and little hellos from him, and little. I have the sense that he's getting his name across your path, and I know that you're a grandma, which is insane to think because you look like 40 years old. But do you have someone in the family that's like a namesake for him, or part of his name is in their name?
Two people, yes.
Okay, because he feels very, very excited about this, and a sense of, I know that you know this just because you know a lot of this, but he does spend a lot of time with the kids that are in the family. He is so good with kids. You know that about him already, I'm sure. But there's this feeling with him of like, sometimes I feel like I'm better with kids and animals than I am with like stuck up adults. Do you know what I mean? Like he just can be a little more himself. There's this playful aspect to his personality too, I have to say, where I
Sure.
could feel him like wanting to like throw a ball with kids as an adult. Do you know what I mean? And connect is part of his helping mission in the world to help kids kind of at an age where they become a little more susceptible to addiction.
You mean now on the other side or
Um,
before?
before.
It was more of people he knew that he helped keep them clean, kind of thing.
Okay. Because there's just this feeling of him being able to identify like people that are more susceptible or more at risk, and wanting to like spend time with them and take them out of their, zone where they might be alone or feeling depressed, and get like time with them, go pick them up
Mm-hmm.
or talk to them. Or he just is that kind of friend who's not going to let someone else slip into the quicksand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Such a
Mm-hmm.
weird way of saying it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's just this sense with him of, it's almost like wanting to pay it forward because so many people helped him when he was in tough spots. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
He has this really beautiful way of staying in non judgment, too, I have to say. He feels like one of the least judgmental people on earth. Um, he can feel someone's struggle and know, like, even details about the depth of the dark places they go. And he can hold this, like, neutral love in his heart for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
it's a
definitely.
really it's a really special part of him, for
Mhm.
as like masculine and guy that I always feel him. He has this really sensitive side of him that I wasn't aware of.
Yes, definitely.
And one of the beautiful things I know about Brandon is that as his mom, I know he tells you he loves you, and he wants to like give you a hug and be sweet with you. I don't think he's over the top with it, but there's a sense of like, that this young man loves you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What a special guy. Even
Mm-hmm.
I know he has a sibling as well. And even with his sibling, it's this feeling of like, yeah, we tease each other and we like give each other a little bit of a hard time here and there. But at the end of the day, we know that we love each other. You know that piece of it. And there is just this feeling with him oh, interesting. He's indicating that as we move towards the end of the year, that there's some things shifting for you that he's pretty excited about. Are you kind of reorchestrating your schedule a little bit, or something changing for you in your day to day life?
I'm working on some things.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
This is a strange question, but is there a part of you that's been thinking about writing some version of his story?
Yeah, I just sort of have issues getting it going, really.
Yeah. Okay, but you've been thinking about it
I have, yeah.
because it's him encouraging you. And the encouragement here is, it's okay to start with the light memories. It's okay to
Mm-hmm.
start with the tender, more happy memories, and then go into the difficult memories in more of like a um, boundary time. So maybe we're only going to spend an hour writing about the hard things, but then remembering the light things. There's this other feeling of you and he as writing partners. So
Hmm.
I don't know if you sense him around you when you're thinking about this. I think you sense him around quite a bit because you're very sensitive as well and know how to sense him. But there's just this feeling with him of like, when you're ready, there's no rush, but he is encouraging you. Crazy loud car outside now, which is, I feel like, double confirmation of him being like, yes, like get it going. And just this sense of, you're helping him to carry on his mission in the world by sharing his story and by being so brave. Before this happened and you were part of the Helping Parents Heal group, were you not necessarily as much of a public speaker or comfortable talking in front of like groups of people?
Um, when I know my topic, I'm fairly
You're okay.
comfortable. There's been an evolution of it, but I'm pretty comfortable.
I think it's this evolution that he's wanting to highlight of just how much more you've stepped into the fullness of yourself, and he feels really excited about it. This writing piece just feels like a new level of that. And he's also indicating that your perspective through his journey is maybe more important than you realize as a mom. I think we know this to be true, but he's indicating that so many parents look inside and think like, what did I do right or wrong? What did I not see? And he's saying you have so much healing to offer just from sharing your story, that there's this feeling of blending his story with yours. And I almost wonder if there's some version of it where you're telling like his version of the story and then alongside like, and this is what I was experiencing in that period. Is that somewhat of your thinking about?
It's an interesting angle. Yeah, that is.
Well, I'm just going to offer that to you because that's how I'm receiving it. But just this feeling with him of wanting to give you a kiss on the cheek. And have you been looking through photos kind of recently?
I mean, I'm looking at him right now, and
Okay. Because I'm like, there's just this, I can feel him smiling at you. And
mhm,
it's like he does have this, I know he's an young adult man, but he does have this like boyish quality
mhm.
to him. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And just this sense with him of, I think you know how much he loves you and how much appreciation he has for the way that you can hold him also in non-judgment. Now, I know in the very last part of his time here, it just feels like there's some more challenges that rise up for him. You understand that piece of it?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I think he's communicated to you through many mediums. So I feel like he's given this apology before, but there's just this sense of sorry for the way that that part works out, but so much gratitude that you're not mad at him, that you don't have any judgment for him, that you have found in this time that he's been crossed over a way to he keeps using the word forgive, even though I'm not sure that that's quite the right word. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's definitely part of the journey, forgiving
Yeah.
yourself and
Finding some
forgiving.
grace
Yeah.
for the whole experience
The
is
whole
the feeling with it.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is part of this sensitivity of him. It's just he feels things so deeply and he can go to such a tough place within himself. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And as someone who, as I mentioned, is like such a good friend and so helpful of others, I know that one of his challenges is he's not the best at reaching out for help. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And he
Yeah.
just has some apologies around that because he's indicating that like, no, I have the most supportive family that would come anywhere at any time to help me with anything.
Hmm.
But he's wanting to take the responsibility for that piece of it. And I just keep feeling him wanting to give you a big kiss on the cheek. um, do we have a birthday just around the corner for someone in your family, the more extended family?
Yes.
Okay. He's just so excited about this and wanting you to know.
Yeah.
Have we been kind of trying to plan a little bit of like a celebration or get together or something?
It's on Thanksgiving. So.
Okay. He feels very excited about it. And there's just this feeling of, he's come to forgiveness with a lot of elements in his life too, and just feels very happy that we can all come together as a family, no matter what we've gone through together, that we are finding a way to, he's using the word reunify. Can you understand that? Uh, but he also puts you as like the heart of the family, and it's through your leadership and your grace that you can find for people that you show everyone else the way to do this, is what he's saying. And I'm not entirely sure who this person is, but the way he's giving it is like, Mom, I'm so proud of you. So,
It's, yeah, it was a challenging relationship at one point, and I, tried to do my own work.
yeah.
It was all entangled with him too. It's a whole story, but
Yeah. Well, you don't have to
so
share it,
it's
but
so it's interesting that came up.
yeah, that is interesting. And there's just a feeling of like him giving you a pat on the back and saying like he's just so proud of who you've always been and who you continue to become. So, well, thank you for
Thank you.
letting me spend a little time with him. I just think he
Yeah.
is amazing. Um,
I do too.
I'm sure you do. He just always feels so so loving and sweet and such a mom's boy. It's the way he feels.
Basically, yes.
Now, I know we talked about sharing that I met you through a wonderful organization called Helping Parents Heal.
Yeah.
I part of the work that I do with the group is I come occasionally and do group readings for the group, but I make sure that I don't stay for the part where people share their stories because I don't want my information to be colored. So
hmm
that's kind of why I wanted to do a little reading for you before you shared your story because I don't know your story. And I
True.
would love it if you would share a little bit about that with us.
Sure. Well, so Brandon was 28 when he passed, and he'd had a history with addiction, um, but he was very high level, and so he never missed a day at work or school or
Yeah.
anything like that, Um, and it came in these 3-year increments. It was 3 years and then 3 years,
Okay.
and so when COVID came, we were preparing for COVID shutdown and a lot of hoopla over that. And he
Yeah.
got his computer to bring home from work. And I think he just got something to celebrate, you know, get to work at home.
Yeah.
And it was a fentanyl pill. They call it a hot pill, and it killed him.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. So something that he didn't know that that's what he
He
was
didn't
getting
know.
and that's what he
He,
got.
I'm sure he thought it was something else.
Oh,
I know it had to
yeah.
be. So, yeah. And so that happened. And of course, it was COVID shutdown weekend. And so, sort of a surreal experience because the whole world shut down with us at the same
Yeah.
time. Our lives sort of came to a halt, and so did everyone else's. So it
Yeah.
was unique in that everyone just didn't run off to work the next day. Like I had probably more support that way, strangely. And pretty immediately, we had, readings for fun in the past, and pretty immediately, his girlfriend at the time had one.
Okay.
She was struggling, and actually, I think with your former partner,
Oh yeah.
Kelly. Yeah,
Kelly.
and so Kelly, and so we all said, "Oh, we're doing it. We're all doing it." She told us about it, so we all did it, and I did it, and he came through in flying colors and lots of validations, and we were already getting tons of signs, and we were all on board for the whole thing, and that
Yeah.
just began my whole spiritual deep dive into all things woo woo, and I mean it's just been there's been so much evidence. It's been that Brandon has shown me that there is something else, and so yeah, so I've just done this whole thing, and I've had some readings here and there, and eventually, and Kelly actually told me about Helping Parents Heal because some of the other parents she read were there, so I joined, and then eventually they had in-person meetings, and went to
Yeah.
those, and that's where I met you,
Yes.
and you guys would do the group readings, and then eventually the leader. She just needed to move on, and I
Mhm.
took over, and I've been doing it for a few years now, and we have parents that come and we talk about our kids. We do different activities. We might have a sound bath. We might have a medium. We might do art. We might just talk about our kids. We do different things. And we meet once a month in person.
Such an incredible group. And I know you are the leader of the San Diego chapter, but there are chapters all over as
Yes,
well, right?
it's an international group.
That's amazing.
and whoever they can harangue into opening a group in a variety of cities. We for a long time we didn't have an Orange County. We have one there now.
Oh, wow.
There's a couple in LA. So people come from all over the county, North County, to our meetings, and we have them in different people's homes. And some people are ambivalent about coming. They're afraid of they're going to cry. Which is natural. And we're just here to support them and hear their story and understanding, because you just don't you can't understand it unless it's happened to you. And of course, we wouldn't want anyone to understand it who hasn't
Yeah.
lost a child, because when before it happens, it's the thing that you're like, no, no, no.
Right.
If it enters your head, you push it back out,
Yeah.
and that's the same feeling as what it would be like to lose another child, like, because there are those people that have lost all, or they're only.
Right.
So there's all these scenarios, and different ways that kids go in different ages.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically can find some camaraderie. I don't know what the word is. That's not a
Well, it's a
right
really
good
good
word.
point because sometimes people think, oh, it's just if I've lost a kid that's this age or just if they pass this way, but it's any person that's lost a child of any age, right?
Yeah, and actually, so Helping Parents Heal, as I said, is an international group, and Elizabeth and Irene are the kind of the heads of it right now. And there's a core group of people that started it and are still active and run it, and their board of directors and all that. I think there's like 30,000 members now of parents that
Wow.
have joined it. When I first joined, I think there was under 20, maybe even 15. I can't remember, but so it's quite large. And like I said, it's all over the world, and
Yeah.
they'll have Zoom meetings with different mediums or grief experts, or a variety of spiritual aspects and healing on there.
It sounds like it's
Yeah.
just what it says, helping parents heal. And healing is lots of things and lots of different
Right. It's a
flavors,
lot of
right?
different modalities, and
Yeah.
the parents have to be open to the
Right.
spirituality, but yeah, most people are, because they want to have contact with their kids, but
Well, and it's
it's not.
everyone in the group that I've come to, which is your group. I feel like there are people from all walks of life and all different backgrounds and ages with all different kinds of kids on the other
Mhm,
side, and it's such
mhm.
a safe space is I think the best way to say it.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's really been a good experience for me, and I like that I can pay it forward a little bit and help
Yeah.
people as much as I can. And so yeah, people figure out that we have it in San Diego, and they'll contact me, and I'll invite them. So
What's
yeah.
the best way for someone to look into the group if they're feeling curious about joining if they've lost a kiddo?
Well, they can go to helpingparentsheal.org, which is their actual website, and it has all kinds of resources on there, including my contact information. Then we also have our main way of communicating is through Facebook. So there's a main page, and then each affiliate group in each variety of areas has their own Facebook page. And then in addition, there are subgroups for if your child was an addict, or if it's all or only children. Like, there's every
Mm,
variety, disabled kids, every variety of
like
need, they
specific subgroup.
specific subgroups. So
Wow.
you can join those too, and then be in those meetings, and it's all on Zoom for the main group. We meet in
Okay.
person, but it's all on Zoom, so it's very accessible.
And that's so cool that, because it is a different path to walk, right?
Hmm.
I had one parent tell me that it's the club that no one ever hopes to be a member of, but
Right.
thankful that it's there. So,
That pretty much is it in a nutshell. So
yeah. Well, I'll make sure to link the Helping Parents Heal main page, and I'm sure all the Facebook stuff you can get it through their website as well. I'll put that in the show notes. Will you share a little bit about? I know you mentioned you started getting signs from Brandon right away. I find that this is often difficult for people when they've just lost someone to like recognize the signs or allow themselves to accept that something's a sign. Will you talk a little bit about your experience?
yeah, well, as a family, we all sort of started getting things and sharing them in a group text. And I found that to be pretty encouraging
That's
because
really
even if
beautiful.
you didn't get one, then someone else did, then you could sort of piggyback off of that and take it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, he just came in strong from the beginning. I mean, it was just one thing after another. Initially, just the night it happened, dimes at the hospital that were found in
Wow.
just these random spots. And then,
Did you
there
first
was,
think like, "Oh, that's weird," and then you were like, "Okay, this is too many," or how did that click in for
it was
you?
just, well, that family member that found it, dimes were a thing for them,
Okay. So they already
dimes
kind
and
of recognized it that way.
pennies and things like that. And, we had a shooting star incident, which was very
Wow.
special. And then, I had a visitation dream that was really one of the most intense experiences I've had before. And so I could tell you briefly. He
Yeah,
was
I
like,
would love it if you're comfortable sharing about that because I think a lot of people get confused about, sometimes when we lose someone, particularly someone that's we love so much, we can have those anxious dreams where our mind like we're searching for
mhm.
them and sometimes people get worried like, "Oh, is that real?" versus like a visitation dream, which is a totally different experience. So I would love it if you're comfortable sharing about that.
Yeah. So he was about 5 years old in the dream, which he initially came through with mediums as a young boy. And they say
Five's
that,
such a great age of kiddos too. It's such a
yeah,
great
they come
age.
through when younger, happier years, right? And anyhow, so there he is in the dream. I'd gotten up to use the restroom, went back to bed because, it's the first week and it hasn't even sunk into your subconscious yet.
Right.
And you wake up and then you remember it's like the worst breakup of your life,
Yeah.
essentially. And so I took an aspirin, went back to bed, and laid there. And there he was, 5 years old. And I think I was taken to my version, sort of heaven where he might be.
Mhm.
It was a lakefront. I love lakes. There was this little small Mayberry RFD town on the waterfront. No people, just us. And we were on this little pier. And it was dusk, my favorite time of day.
Yeah, there's got
And
chills.
so, yeah. And so I said, "Oh, it's time, to go home for dinner." And I picked him up and I held him on my front and started walking. And I said, I love you so much. You're such a good boy. And I was met with the most intense, I was almost like stunned with bliss.
Wow.
Um, it's really indescribable, the feeling I had. It was like the peace that passes all understanding that they talk about, like people have in
Yeah.
NDEs. Like I feel like
Mhm.
that was a real gift to me. And I don't know that all visitation dreams are like that. I've had other dreams with him in it where he pops in and it's not like that. But
Yeah.
in this dream that day, it was like, and I've just felt, and I was just so amazed by it and I was just enjoying it. And then I felt a physical hand on my head in my bed.
Wow.
And I thought, oh my goodness, is that you, Brandon? And it pulled me out of the dream, but I didn't open my eyes. I was in a kind of a twilight. And then I just said, thank you. And I went back to
Mm.
sleep. And then when I got up that day, I was okay. And so that was pretty cool. And then they're just, I mean, every variety of sign you can imagine, people get butterflies and feathers and stuff. And I did get a little of that. But I mean, I got a lot of like physical things happen that you couldn't explain. And, just
Well,
let
and
me know
it's
if you
great
want
that
me
you're
to.
just allowing yourself to accept the signs too, because I feel like sometimes that's the sticking point is it's almost too painful to accept them sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
I love the way you describe that overwhelming feeling of bliss or peace or all the things mixed together. Divine love, I guess, is what it is, because I'm always complaining about how the language isn't quite right for any of these mystical experiences. It is beyond words.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And so he just has continued to show me, like through music, through, things going missing and coming back. And
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. And so I don't know if you want me to share one of my really big stories, but
Yeah, I would love that. And then I want to hear the rainbow story too, if you're comfortable sharing that one. So
oh, well, the
just
rainbow was just the other day.
oh my gosh.
We went to, my daughter and I and my fiance and his family, we all went to see the Midway on the rainy day on Saturday. And when we got back out, there was a giant double rainbow. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
So that
so
was
not
just a recent one.
that was just a few days ago.
I
And
love
honestly, I mean,
it.
rainbows are really not like a thing for us
Yeah.
necessarily, but that was that day. And I took a picture of my daughter and her children.
Wow. So
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So, we were getting songs, special songs come on the radio. Like, I mean, there's so much, and it was so constant that I
Yeah.
felt really blessed. I've been really blessed with the signs, and I feel like the people that aren't sure about it, might recommend that they write them down.
Yeah.
Just start writing them down every time it happens, and pretty
Even if you
soon,
think it's a sign, right? Like even if you're not sure, just
even
like,
if you're not sure, write
yeah.
it down because you might start seeing a pattern.
Yeah.
You might get a preponderance of evidence at some point where you're like, okay, I'm going to believe it.
That's such a good
Um,
point. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I wanted to believe it, obviously, but I also did my own sort of skeptic sleuthing to
I was gonna
see,
say, I feel
like,
like I know you well enough to know that you're very intelligent and
yeah,
you're not just gonna believe anything.
yeah, and sometimes things are just so, it hits you over the head that you just have to believe it.
Yeah.
But I was open for the beginning, and just like in a reading, if you get validations and then you get a message, I tell people you can't cherry pick. Like,
Right.
you can't say it's your kid, but then not accept that they told you it's their time and it's not your fault, because those are such a big part of acceptance.
Right.
Um, and they're trying to help you, from
Yeah.
the other side to get to that point. And, we're like, no, 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 it's my fault. I'm going to blame myself. It's me. I did it. I
Yeah.
didn't do this when they were a child, or I did this when they were a child, or, all the stuff that you think you did, when really it was their day to go,
Yeah. That's such a
you
good
know?
point.
And, so that's my whole thing about readings. Don't cherry pick them, because if
Yeah.
you believe that's your child and you got the evidence, then you need to accept that message that said, that that they're with you, and that there's nothing you could have done to change it.
It is kind of, I mean, such a good point. I'm so glad you brought that because it is kind of part of the part of the precipice of this evidential mediumship style is the details that are able to be validated, the factual things that you know about your person, whether it's your kiddo or someone else, kind of then allows you to believe the message, because if these 10 things are correct, well, then we can allow ourselves to believe that the message is correct. And I feel
Right.
like it's a tough, I've had people from the other side give very tough love kind of messages at times. And
Yeah.
it can be really profound if someone's able to accept it.
Yeah. I mean, I also say not to, you don't want to overdo it on the readings, but
Right.
when you're doing it, too much, or if you're being needy or
Yeah.
whatever.
I have a
I got to
whole
the point.
episode about that recently, that it's
Yeah.
like the need, when you feel a need, not just because you're curious, like a need.
Yeah. I really need it. But anyway, yeah. So what was I going to say?
You got to the point where
Yeah, I
about
got to the
readings.
point where I was okay that if someone else came through, if it wasn't Brandon, I was okay.
Yeah.
And my mom came through, and, I had kind of not the greatest childhood, ever. And I thought, okay, I'll talk to her,
Yeah.
bring it. And really, really healing message. And it's interesting because when you read the other day for one of our
Hmm.
members, her mom came through and she got something kind of similar that was very healing for her and timely, right? Because it's
Yeah.
been enough time that she could accept hearing from her mom. So yeah, it was very interesting. But so yes, I mean, it's a whole conglomeration of methods of healing, from the readings
Right.
to the having the signs. And I mean, it's really been everything to a lifeline for me.
Yeah, I
Um,
can imagine. Well, and it's such a great point that you bring about, like, if someone does attend a group reading, even if, I think I was sharing this with you recently, that the first time I was already developing as a medium before I ever even knew group readings was a thing. And as part of the like 6 month program I was taking, the teacher did a giant like 300-person group reading with
oh wow.
another medium. I know, it was crazy. And I was like, and we had to like buy tickets. It wasn't part of what we got. So I was like, I have to go to this because I have to see what this is. And they were talking about a person, or communicating with a spirit person that just had so many details similar to a person I had lost, but enough of it was different that I was like, well, this definitely isn't my person. But kind of like how you just said, the message is similar, some of the details are similar. So you know that one message can be for more than one person, even if it's not your person communicating. Sometimes
Right.
we kind of can feel a similarity, or like you said, a similarity in what was communicated, that it's like, oh, okay, this is a reminder for me too, or this is a message for me too. So it's
Oh
so
yeah,
fascinating.
yeah. Yeah, the piggybacking is big.
Yeah.
I
Will you?
piggybacked, a
Yeah.
couple of people. I'm
Right.
like, "Oh, Brandon, okay."
Well, and
You
it does
know?
happen sometimes if it's not like your day to get a communication because you
Oh,
are
yeah.
okay, then sometimes they might still, I do know what you're talking about. Another kiddo in that group reading that communicated brought some similarities to some things that
Mhm.
had occurred in your family, and you could
Mhm.
see a real similarity there
Yeah.
too. So that was kind of interesting. Will you,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, will you share a little bit how you said Brandon will bring you songs? Because I often find, like, this happens sometimes for people. All of the spirit people bring messages and say hellos in different ways, but I always try to explain to people that sometimes it might be a song you associate with them, like a song they loved or a band they loved, but sometimes it's songs that have nothing to do with, like, not their favorite. You just know it's a hello from them. So will you talk a little bit about how music comes across your path from him?
Yeah, well, music was very important to him,
Yeah.
and so it made sense that it would come through that way. So, we would wake up with songs in our head.
Oh, I
Like,
love
they
that.
would like, where did that come from, right?
Yeah. Like, why
And
this song in my head today?
right, and so we would share with each other, and, write them down, and some of them became, you know, sort of anthems.
Yeah.
Also, he had his favorite music, Modest Mouse and Pink Floyd, and so
Okay.
those would come up along a lot. Like, I'd gone to visit his girlfriend, and when I was leaving, I didn't turn on the radio, and I had the thought, I should turn that on, and it was "Float On" by Modest Mouse, which is not
Yeah.
a song that plays on the radio often. And
I don't
what?
even know what it is.
Yeah, you'll have to. I'll
I
send
will.
you
I'm going to
some of
look it
it.
up. Yeah.
So that sort of became our theme song, because it came up a lot at random times for us, and I say random when
Yeah.
obviously
I
it's
know what
not,
you mean.
you know,
Yeah.
and so we knew that was him. I mean, yeah, I could just go on all day about the signs, but yeah, the songs were pretty significant, and when they still are. So, like, on my 60th birthday a few years ago, so I'm 5.5 years into this journey now, right?
Okay.
So 2 years ago, when I turned 60, I and I always tell people, like, you might have to go outside for a sign. You can't just hole
Yes.
up in your house and expect it. You might have to leave. And so I'm telling myself that as I'm in the tub, because I'd already had kind of my big birthday celebration, and I thought it was time to get ready to go to my daughter's house. And I was going to bring pizza, and she had all you can eat ice cream sundaes. And so I'd gotten ready. Like I said, I'd had a birthday celebration before. This is just, kind of a mellow birthday thing. I get in the car, and the song My Sweet Lord comes on, which is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Yeah.
And Brandon loved George Harrison. He used to do imitations of George Harrison all the time.
That's so funny.
Yeah, he was really good at voices and
He
accents. And
does have a
so,
good sense of humor.
yeah, oh yeah. And so I was like, okay, And then I look at the time, and it's 5:55. Well, we got his jersey number was number
I
55 in high
remember that.
school,
That's his number
and
5.
it comes up all the time. So that's another thing. Numbers come
Wow.
up, right? And so there it was, 5:55, and I was like, I'll take it. So I did a little video, and then I realized after that it showed 60 miles on my odometer. I had 60 miles left in my gas tank.
Wow. So happy
So
60 from Brandon.
right. So I had the 60, I had the 5:55, and I had the song. So, you
Wow.
know, bang, bang, right? That's a sign. So, you have to just notice. You have to pay attention. You have to notice.
We have such a good point. Sometimes you do have to go outside, whether it's a sign from a person or the universe that you're
Mm-hmm.
hoping to get. And the other thing I love that you said is, you had the thought, oh, yeah, I should turn on the radio. They can't control our free will and take control of us, but they can kind
Mm-hmm.
of give us that nudge of like, hey, what
Suggestions.
about the
Yeah.
radio? Yeah. And then
Turn
it's
on
up to
that
you to
radio.
say, like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's how you give your kind of consent or buy-in is like, and you
Mm-hmm.
just got into the car like at just the right time to see that 555, and
Yeah.
he can get your attention to it to notice it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's so cool.
Yeah. And so, and that's usually, on a birthday or angel dates and things like that. And so
Yeah.
another thing about readings is I do recommend people schedule them on angel dates or as close to it as they can, because it is, especially in the first few years, a really hard time.
Yeah, it is a really hard
And
time.
I think having that connection on or around the angel dates, a good thing to help
Yeah.
them through it. But
Well, and definitely at the very least to be allowing to schedule something, like if you don't feel open to a medium or something like that, at least make sure you have a time with a friend at their house, or like
mhm.
time to don't be on your own. It feels
Right.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and well, the thing about the angel dates too is just not to feel too much pressure on yourself to
Yeah.
make it something.
Yeah.
You know, eh, your child knows that you love them and that you're with them, or that they're you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And just lighting a candle can be enough. Just doing a meditation for them to connect, or
Yeah, just thinking a
you
little
know,
hello in your mind is enough. Like
yeah,
it doesn't
eat
have
their
to
favorite
be,
food, or
yeah. That's
yeah.
such
I
a
mean,
great point. It doesn't have to be a big production,
yeah,
and perhaps every year is different even. Maybe you feel one
exactly.
way one year and a different way, and it's such a I'm so glad you brought this up because it's such a good point that like to honor just how you feel, and it doesn't have to
Hmm.
be, they do know truly how loved they are, and
Right.
they feel the love all the time, so it's not like you're going to disappoint them if you don't do a
Yeah.
big production.
Right. And
That's
so,
such an
and
important point.
and just learning to like trust your instincts, like just even if you're not sure it's a sign, just say, that's a sign. Like I
Yeah.
said, and write it down, because the whole thing is trust, right? Like
Yeah.
I've taken mediumship classes. I understand the whole concept that you just, at some point, you just have to believe that you believe,
Yeah, you just have to let
you
yourself
know?
have it.
You
I
have
would
to
love for
know it.
you, I'm glad you brought this up because I would love for you to share a little bit about how this has sort of unfolded a different part of your path and your own spiritual journey that maybe was not in your original plan for things.
Well, I don't think any of this is in my original plan.
No, I mean the spiritual journey part. I don't know if you would
Yeah.
have perhaps like, come
Yeah.
to that direction.
Well, like I said, Brandon and I used to have these conversations about spirituality, and I
Yeah.
always felt like there was like a Venn diagram where there's, religion, spirituality, like,
Mhm.
which, anyways, and then science. I think
Yeah.
that they all overlap in a place, and maybe not every aspect agrees. Maybe religion doesn't think that what this other world really has anything to do with them, but it does. And
Yeah.
science, the same thing. I think and more as more time goes on, there's more and more sort of proof of that with
Physics and yeah.
physics and all this
They're
stuff that
catching
they're
up. I
they're they're
agree.
figuring it out. But so we always thought that and believed that, and now it's just been more and more. I've got to the point where because of the readings and the signs have been so extreme that I know, like, I don't just believe, I know.
Yeah.
And so I really think that Brandon has been my partner in this,
For
leading me
sure.
along and getting me there. And he's helped me to help other people. So just for example, try to tell you briefly. I don't know how we're doing on
You're
time, but
doing great.
so I had this wallet that my son gave me. Actually, I have it right here. This Michael Kors billfold,
Very nice.
and of course, I treasured it once he was gone. Of course, from this physical earth, and I didn't. I still didn't always use it, but I tried to more after he left, and I would put it in my purse, but it's big. And
Yeah.
so my purse would start filling up with things, and I would shove it under my seat or my boyfriend's car or maybe the trunk. And one day I realized I didn't have it. I didn't think it was lost, but I wasn't sure where it went. So I thought, well, I'm going to look for it. And, I'm going to look under my seat. And then, you get in your car, you go to autopilot. So it took me a few weeks to look under my seat. Wasn't there. My boyfriend, finally, he looked under his seat. Wasn't there. I took my trunk apart. Wasn't there. And I started to think, okay, I'm going to do what I call like a search and destroy mission and tear my house apart and find this thing. But still not in a panic, right? And it
Right.
had been a while. I didn't realize how long it had been. So in the meantime, my daughter had moved back to town and we had gone to get flowers and stuff because I was doing an open house in a house or condo that really needed to brighten up the front door, and she needed them for her apartment. And so we went to Home Depot, and we got to Home Depot, and I got flowers, I got pots, I got all kinds of stuff. And so did she. And she got soil, and I didn't buy soil. And I knew I needed soil, but I just didn't grab it. We got to the register. My grandson started kind of getting fussy, and I thought, I'll just get it tomorrow when I was going to babysit for her again. So, because we had gone, after work. So the next day, Friday, came along, and a lot of things happen on Fridays for some reason with me. And I left her house. I did not go to Dixieline. I just got on autopilot, got on the freeway. I thought, oh my gosh, okay. Well, there's a Home Depot on my way home. So I thought, I'll go to the Home Depot. I drove past that exit. Thought, oh my goodness, am I sleep deprived? What is going on here? So I purposely drive to the hardware store by my home. And I walk in the door and I grab my bag of soil and I pop it on the countertop. And the guy starts ringing me up and his name is Brandon. Well, it's my son's name.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think
He does get his name across your path a lot.
Yeah, and not a lot, but this time for sure. And so I said, I thought, hello from heaven. Okay, I'll take it, but nothing major. So I give him my phone number for my ACE rewards, and he says, "Oh, you're Amy Sanders?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you eat at this restaurant across the freeway, Con's Cave?" I said, "Yeah, I go there." He said, "I found your wallet last night at my other job."
Wow.
And all of a sudden it's like, right? Like to
the world
me,
stands still, I'm sure. Yeah.
yeah, like, wait a minute. I pull him to the side and I say, look, my son gave me that wallet. His name's Brandon. He's deceased. Your name is Brandon. And you found my wallet at your other job last night when I should have bought
So
this soil at
crazy.
3 other stores. I should have already bought this, but here I am, right? And so I go, I'm going to come to you. This is not a coincidence. I'm going to come to your job tonight. I'm going to get it. So in the meantime, this other guy starts ringing me up. There's a line starts forming. So I leave. I go home and I'm pretty blown out of the water
I
already,
bet.
right?
Yeah.
So I wait a couple hours. It's Friday and happy hour and all that. And I get there about 7:30 and it's still pretty busy, but the booth that I was in the night that I left the wallet open.
Wow.
So I thought, oh, all right, this is getting better. So I went and I sat down and I'm waiting for my cocktail. And I see him and he comes over and I said, oh, what's your middle name? James, same name. I said, tell me you're not a Sanders. This. He goes, no, but listen to this. He said, when you came in today, I was not on the register. I didn't work the register. You're the only person I rang up in 8 hours. The guy had to go to the bathroom when you walked in the door.
Wow.
And so all of a sudden,
Incredible.
pretty incredible. I mean, there's just no way, right? And I'm like, what? What? I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah.
All of that
One
adding
in a
up.
million. It feels like that's amazing.
More than that. I mean, it's astronomical. And then we gather ourselves. He's got to get back to work. And as he's walking away, the music in the restaurant plays the song, Amy, what you gonna do? Plays my
I
song.
just got chills.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, just like boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
That's when I sort of decided, that was the sign that happened, that I decided to sort of go public with it, that I was going to tell people that I didn't care if they wanted to use me as a realtor or not, or what they thought, because I think it's more important for people to know that there's so much more that we don't know about, really can't know about.
Yeah.
But there's
mystical experiences, right? I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to have that song in my head the rest of the day. Amy. And I'm going to sing it to you every time I see you. It's like, that's undeniable. That's too many,
It's
too
too
many, too
many.
many things.
It's
I
too
can feel like it's
many.
like Brandon being like, how about now, mom? Like,
Yeah, that's
how
not a
about now? Like, is that
coincidence.
enough?
There's just no way. Like him being Brandon, that's a coincidence, you know.
Wow.
Um, but the way it just unfurled was just amazing, you know. And then I had Invisalign, and I was waiting to do my front teeth. So they give you these placeholders, and normally when you have Invisalign, um, they come in like packages of 8, and you just put them in every week. And if you
Okay.
lost one, which you know I had done, and you would just pop in the next set in, right? So I'm just letting you know about my other big sign here.
Yeah, I love it.
So I couldn't find it this one day. I was getting ready for bed, and I'd taken them out for dinner, and I was looking with my flashlight all over my house about 3 times, about 2,000 square feet, and they're invisible. So you have to have the flashlight to kind of reflect the light.
Yeah.
And I'm searching and searching and searching. And it's about 1 a.m. when I finally give up.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I looked at every surface. I pulled the sofas apart. It's what I call my search and destroy. Pulled the sofas apart, looked under them, everywhere, touching, because, you know, you have to try to maybe feel for them. And I thought, gosh, where are those? So I said, okay, I'm going to bed. You know, God, angels, Brandon, you know, whoever's out there, call me out here, you know.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad that I didn't ask to, you know, solve world hunger or something.
You're
Petty
already
little,
working on that.
you know, my petty little, you know, need. You know, I know I'm going to have to do the walk of shame because I'm a 60-year-old woman that can't keep track of her Invisalign, you know, and the dentist office in the morning. And how long is it going to be before they get me another set? My bottom teeth are going to start moving. And, you know, I'm worried. But I just think, okay. And I'm so exhausted, I just go to sleep. I get up in the morning, I think I'm going to give one more look before I call them. I get the flashlight and I'm looking and looking. And something catches my eye on my dining room table by the window. And I look, and it's not just the one. There are 3 in a pile, like stacked up
Oh
on
my
my table
gosh.
from the past, other ones that had been lost. And I know they weren't laying
Wow.
around because I washed my
Well, you would
tablecloth
have
and
definitely seen them, obviously. Yeah.
uh, yeah. And if I had
And
found
three
just the
together.
one,
That's, yeah.
yeah, if I just found the one, it would have been like, oh, there it is. But there's 3 stacked in a pile. And I asked, you know,
Wow.
my fiance, and he said, no, we were the only ones here. There's just no way to explain
Yeah,
how
there's no
how
other
those got like
explanation.
that. It's like, yeah, I'll find your Invisalign and I'll get the other ones too that you lost, you
That's
know?
so
Here you
funny.
go, boom. So
Wow.
it's just been stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
been,
it's
you know,
undeniable too. It's like,
undeniable
yeah,
and consistent, you know, and they're not all that big. You know, there's plenty of, you know, but to me, no matter what the size of the sign is, they're all
right.
miracles to me.
I agree. And it's, even if it feels really simple when it's happening, it's still a mystical experience. They're still working hard to, I always tell people like a lot of things are happening for us to just receive that one song on our radio. Like
Hmm.
we have to be in the car at that exact moment.
Right.
That song has to be playing. They have to get us to like, oh yeah, turn on your radio. They have to like
Hmm.
get us to turn up the volume and pay attention to the song and not be on
Hmm.
the phone. And I mean, it's a lot that's going
It's
into it,
it's a
even
lot.
for a little one.
And you'll hear parents be like, "Well, that's not enough. I want another. I want more, 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 more." Right?
Yeah.
And my example is, well, if your child came to you, you know, in life with paper that had an A on it, would you be like, "I need an A plus,"
Yeah.
right? Like, just accept it and be happy. You know, just
Yeah.
you don't
I
need,
try
you
to tell
know.
people it's like a volley too. Like I feel like it's like a volley and you don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to tell other people if you don't want, but just acknowledging like, okay, hi, like thanks, I see you. And then you're like kind of giving it back to them. So then they can bring you another hello in a different
Hmm.
way at a different time. It's like a back and forth. But often we do have to go outside in the world. You're right.
But I'm very grateful for the bond, the communication. You
Yeah.
know, um, I mean, obviously, I want him here, but if I can't have him here, then I still have him here. It's just
Yeah.
different.
Just in
It's
a
just a
different way.
different connection, and that's really what it's all about. I have a whole healing list, and it's really based on, you know, connecting, you know, the connection with your kid, and
Yeah. Well,
Because
we're
it,
still connected through the love that we share, and
right. You're
we
bonded
always love them no
eternally.
matter what. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a special, and I feel like too, even if, I mean, I believe, and I think you do too, even if a kiddo is adopted or conceived through surrogacy, or I mean, they're still our kid.
Right.
So they're still your kid no matter how they came into your life, and that bond
Right.
is just as strong,
Yeah.
between parent and child.
It's the love,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah. So, I mean, I feel like God is love. God is
Yeah.
the energy between us, like I don't have a really conventional sense of it, but I feel like that's part of the story, that we're part of God, they're part of God, and they can connect to us similarly.
Yeah. I shared this actually. I don't remember who it was. It might have been you in Helping Parents Heal that taught me this. It's one of the most profound analogies for grief that I've ever heard. And I share it frequently, particularly with parents, but lots of other people when they're in that really active, painful part of grief. Someone in Helping Parents Heal taught me that grief is like standing in the ocean. And there's always waves, and some waves of grief are big and will knock you down, and other waves that come will be small enough that you can still stand in, but you're always standing in that ocean. Do you know this,
Hmm.
that what I'm talking about? Are you
Yeah.
familiar with that? Okay, that's
Yeah.
just so profound.
Yeah. I mean, I can totally identify with that. And yeah, I mean, it ebbs and it flows.
Yeah.
And, I still have days. I mean, I'm 5.5 years in, and I still will set time aside to
Yeah.
cry.
That's
I'll
amazing.
purposely watch something sad. Sometimes not purposely, and it'll come out. But
Yeah.
it builds up, and you might get back into sort of a everyday schedule. But it's still there, and it still builds up, and it still needs to come out. So
Yeah.
yeah,
What
definitely.
advice would you give to someone that is really feeling like they're struggling in like a really hard part of their grief? Are there any tools that you've learned or any tips that you have as someone who's gone through this experience?
Well, I always recommend counseling, to go to
Yes.
counseling. I think professional counselors have a lot to offer. And if nothing else, tools to use at the beginning.
Yeah.
Definitely, how to cope. Um, I do recommend getting a reading as soon as possible. I also think people have to acknowledge that they might need to be nudged along. They might get to a point where they're stuck, and you have to sort of nudge yourself along, because if you don't do the work, you have to do the work, and there's just
Yeah.
no way. That people say, there's no way but through it, and it's true. Like, you have to go through it. You have to do the work to be able to move forward, and you're not moving on. You're not leaving your kid behind. You're just
Right.
moving forward together, really. And one of my early readings, was talked about, that Brandon was lighting a path for me, and
Hmm.
and helping pull me out of the, not really quicksand, but the what we all go down the rabbit hole, because
Yeah.
it's going to happen, and you're going to go down it, and you're going to blame yourself in some way.
Yeah.
And then if you do the work, you're gonna climb out of that. And it's just really important to just have some intention,
Yeah.
and also grace, and accept that there will be times where you're just having a hard time, but reach out to somebody, try to talk to someone, and whether it's a counselor or another parent, or
Yeah.
someone in your family that can empathize with you, because a lot of times people get sort of left behind, and because life does go on, and their friends are busy, and they feel like people forgot. But it's it's impossible for other people to imagine your life.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. They can't know. And um and, and so you'll take it personally. And so I just feel like, just look inside, do the healing work. And I think one place that people get held up is the acceptance part. And I listened to a lot of Eckhart Tolle at the beginning, just little
Hmm.
snippets. And I finally listened to his
Yeah.
first book, Power for Now. And it's not about grief or even
Right.
death, but it's about acceptance. And it's really a Jungian principle of
Yeah.
what you don't accept will, cause more suffering. What you resist
Yeah,
persists is
so
what,
true. Yeah.
and so, coming to an acceptance is a huge part. I know I don't know if that's a 12-step too, but it's a huge thing is coming to accept it
Yeah.
and
And it's a really
understand.
hard thing. I feel like it happens in layers probably. And I think grace is a really important aspect of just not, not pushing too hard, but making sure you're pushing yourself a little and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you're feeling the feelings, but not sinking under the feelings all the
Yeah,
time.
it's a balance because you're like, what
Yeah.
am I not doing? What do I need to do? I want to feel better. But you have to understand that, I took David Kessler's grief educator class, and he talks about that 2 years can still be new, you know?
Yeah.
And definitely 1 year is new. And people sort of like, I took a mediumship class, I don't know, probably sometime in the first year to two, and it was too early for me. Some
Hmm.
people maybe are more naturally, endowed that way. It would have been, I just thought I was really maybe pushing myself in certain ways more than I could. But, just simple things like meditate every day, go for
Yeah.
walks, take your shoes off under a tree, simple things to sort of energize yourself
Yeah.
and connect with your kid.
And be available for the
Be
signs.
available for the signs, really
Yeah.
always just be on the lookout and, you know, try not to doubt them. Write them
Yeah.
down. I
And
think that's.
I highly encourage anyone who's going through grief of loss to whether it's helping parents heal or another group, it's such an important part of, like you said, sometimes people might feel like, oh, a year's gone by, 2 years, I can't talk about this all the time, but that's a space created to share about it and to be held in that sacred container of how hard it is and getting to express, having a place to like share and with people that truly know a similar feeling.
Yeah, and then having some sense of purpose. Some
Yeah.
people feel pressured to, go big or go home. Like, it doesn't have
Everybody's
to be,
different.
everybody's
Yeah.
different. And, it could just be sharing your story with somebody at the grocery store, at the
Yeah. It could be
beginning of,
journaling.
or
Yeah.
journaling or whatever. Like, I would just tell people I met who had children, hey, don't let tell them not to take a pill that doesn't have their name on the bottle. Like, I
Yeah.
just did whatever little thing I could, you know, uh, to spread the word in that regard. And now, I'm pretty open with, the woo woo stuff in my life because it's real to me, and
Yeah.
I think it's helpful to other people. And not everybody's going to receive it, and you
That's
know,
okay too.
and
Yeah.
some people struggle with their religion that that doesn't agree with it. But
Yeah.
the way I look at it is that people that have NDEs, I've listened to a lot of NDEs, and sometimes they come back with a gift of mediumship
Hmm.
or some sort of gift like that. And
Yeah.
where did they get the gift?
Yeah, exactly.
So why would they have it if it wasn't to be used for good?
It's interesting when it first mediumship first started coming to me, I trained in massage therapy for years and wellness and healing and I worked with angels and then I worked with guides and then I worked with like a deeper trance mediumship, which is kind of channeling that more overarching wisdom, let's just say, before mediumship ever started coming to me. And I went through a period where I was like, talking to the higher power in my heart. Like, I don't know if this is okay. I don't know if is this okay to be doing? And then, even though at that time I wasn't trained, so I could just give little bits of details,
Mm-hmm.
I just would see how much just those tiny details of that person that clearly it had to come from them because they were very unique, specific details. It lifted even just a tiny layer of grief or suffering off their heart. And I just knew, like, oh, this can't be from a bad place. Like, I'll just
Right.
start there and pursue it from there. So I love
Yeah.
that you've had that experience.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, there's a lot of dogma that people get caught up in, and
yeah,
I
and you don't
just
have to.
I just think that it's all about love. I mean,
Yeah.
People like in my dream, and the people that have those experiences on the other side, like they feel that. That's this intense love. So that's got to be God, because it's not
Yeah. It's not
and
here.
it's not it's not
Not all
any
the time here anyway.
it's not an
Um,
evil thing that's giving
yeah,
you
exactly.
love, right? So I don't know, but anyhow, so yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm at peace with it all, and I look forward to seeing Brandon when I get there. But I also know he's here with me every day.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time, for all the work that you do in the world, for leading our local chapter of Helping Parents Heal. And I know that you're so active in so many ways. I appreciate your openness and like even being willing to share. And I'm so grateful to know you.
Same here. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joy.
Thanks for shining your light. Well, I am so filled with gratitude and peace, and so grateful to Amy for sharing her story and Brandon's story with us today, but also for the work that she does with Helping Parents Heal. Amy did reach out to me after we recorded, and she said she'd just been thinking about it and realized that Thanksgiving was her son Brandon's favorite holiday. And so she said she's not surprised actually that he brought that up specifically, since it is just around the corner. And she also shared that the piece that he brought up about a special celebration, and that he was very proud of her for forgiveness and moving forward in the way that she is. She wasn't open to sharing that with all of us, but she did indicate that that's a very significant thing that's happening right now in her family, and that it really was an incredibly powerful message that she needed to hear. So that just is Brandon and the way that the spirit world works. They truly know the need of our heart and soul, regardless of what we might want. They know how to bring it and how to really touch into our heart if we allow it. So I'm so grateful to Amy for being here today and the work that she does. I'm so grateful to Brandon for also showing up and helping with today's episode. And of course, to Helping Parents Heal. And I'll link their website again, helpingparentsheal.org, in the show notes. Whether it's for you or someone close to you, it is an incredible resource filled with beautiful souls. Thanks for being here for this episode. Big hugs, lots of love. Bye for now from inside Spirit Speakeasy.